Welcome back to Simonsen Says, and I'm so excited to have the amazing Akbar Hamid, who is founder of the Fifth Column agency, as well as the star of his recent film, Powerhouse. And if you haven't seen it, you must.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I'm so happy you're here. So I don't know where to start. There's so much to start with. Let's start with the Fifth Column. And if you give us a little background, but let's a little background about yourself, because you're so fabulous and interesting. So tell us a little bit about.
Well, I've been in New York since 2007, so since I graduated university, and I was supposed to go to law school, and I interned for Ambassador Stapleton in Paris while I was in university, and I was going to go into the State Department. Mm-hmm. And then I decided, you know what, I don't want to be a career diplomat. Maybe I'll get appointed one day.
Right.
And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I decided not to go to law school. And one of my dear friends in college was studying communications. I personally didn't even know that was a career at that time.
Right.
And she said, you should go into PR. I think you'd be really good at it. And I was like, what is PR? Mm-hmm. And so I started, interning, and I moved up very quickly and did different things in fashion and lifestyle, and went to different agencies. Harrison & Schriftman, Nike Communications, all these fantastic agencies.
All of the big ones.
And 10 years ago, and then 10 years into my career, I decided to found Fifth Column. And it's grown. We just celebrated 10 years this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Why Fifth Column? It's such an interesting name.
Yeah, it's a fascinating name. So fifth columnists were sort of, back in the day, anarchists, or people who wrote against the regime or wanted to overthrow a system. And so that's really, I was on a flight to Berlin, actually, when I came up with the name. I was sitting on the plane. I couldn't sleep, and I just started writing all these names and meanings, like, what do we stand for? What do we do? And I didn't want my name in it. I think that there are some incredible companies like yours, Brown Harris, that have names, mm-hmm. but the names sort of don't necessarily mean the name anymore, right? They've just become an institution, like JP Morgan, et cetera. But I just thought in PR, the old school agencies, which are still great, like Magrino and Harrison Schriftman, they have names. Right. I wanted a brand to stand on its own, that when I'm ready to sell it or hand it over, IPO. It's not attached, IPO, maybe. It's not attached to an individual. It's an entity that's built its own name and reputation. Mm-hmm. So that was really important, but it was like, what do we stand for? And so Fifth Column came up, like Fifth Columnist. And then I thought, you know what, it's too bold. It's sort of, somebody Googles it, it's like very aggressive. And I was like, you know what, that's exactly what I'm doing, is I'm shaking up this industry. So I did it. And I will never forget, our first year we won Remy Martin, the luxury cognac, as agency of record, year one in the business.
Amazing.
Thank you. And the CEO at the time came from Dior Fragrances. Mm-hmm. So very luxury, French. And I remember he asked me why the name, and when they signed us, and he said he loved it. He thought it was so powerful and strong. And so, I knew that I had made the right decision. When a luxury French CEO tells you did something right, you made the right decision.
Is it surprising that you would have a name that was bold?
No, not at all. No, I mean, everything I'm doing, I feel is bold. And
just also you're representing some of the most iconic brands, Absolute Vodka.
Yeah. We've done Van Cleef and Arpels.
Van Cleef, and also it's so eclectic.
Yeah. I mean, like, we took Birkenstock public. We did their IPO and all the comms and strategy around it, which was an incredible experience. First of all, not only to have such an iconic fashion unicorn, but then to do it in New York on Wall Street. It doesn't get more quintessential New York than that. I feel like I've had so many quintessential New York experiences, but that really, I remember being on the floor of the stock exchange, and then this private room they have for the executives when you go public, and just being like, having
pinching
a surreal
yourself.
Moment, like, how am I here? Like, how am I taking a household name globally, not just in the US? I mean, this is a global brand, public, and that was a true, I think, New York moment.
Amazing. So, and you do live in New York and Los Angeles, or you've been bi-coastal?
I'm mostly in New York. I was splitting time in Miami. I go to LA a lot, and I love LA. I think it's that age-old New York, LA thing. I just don't know if I could live there, but I love going. Right. And I think if we had Erewhon here, life would be perfect.
Right. Yeah,
You know,
right.
it's the one missing thing in New York. But Miami, which we all, what do they say?
course.
It's the 6th borough. Is
Right,
you know,
yeah.
it's pretty much when I go down there, I feel like I'm in New York. So yeah, I do go back and forth. But I've been here since '07. Have lived in almost every neighborhood in all kinds of buildings.
Let's get to that since, obviously I'm interested in real estate and I know the viewers are going to be interested. You've lived in almost every neighborhood.
Yeah.
Most people, like myself, I've always been on the Upper East Side, or some people are, whatever their name. A lot of people stay put in their neighborhood. You've been almost in every neighborhood,
Yeah.
which I think also just tells me more about it. Sort of suits your personality because you're not really someone that can be boxed.
No,
Right?
not at all.
You're not
Yeah.
that. So that makes sense to me that you would have lived in so many different neighborhoods. Tell us, first of all, is there a favorite, or tell us a little bit about your experience about being in different neighborhoods?
Yeah, I mean, I lived in Chelsea, and first I should start Murray Hill. I mean, am I allowed to like diss a neighborhood on this show? Yeah. But it's not nothing bad. Murray Hill is a perfectly fine place, but it was a
Murray
life.
Hill's a perfectly wonderful, fine place. Okay.
But it was a lifetime ago. So that was the first stop. And then I went to Financial District, which, again, perfectly fine place. I have a friend that lives in that beautiful Philippe Stark building down there, which is amazing. It's just not for me. Like, I feel it's during the week. During the weekend, it just feels too quiet for me.
Right, you want more action.
Even though they opened Printemps there and they're trying to, make it, but it's a beautiful place. And then I went to Chelsea, which I loved, 6th floor walk up. So I went from like elevator luxury buildings to like 6th floor walk up.
Which floor were you on?
6.
Oh, okay, but that's good because you get.
Yeah, I
it
didn't
helps
mind
keep you
it.
fit.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. But the only thing was when you're traveling, right?
Yeah.
You come back. My family's in the Middle East, so I'd come back with the 2 suitcases, and I'm like, oh God, no one to help me up the stairs. So, but I loved it. And then East Village.
I just want to go back to that
yeah.
because I just have a feeling, even though you were on the 6th floor, I don't think you learned to pack lightly because
No,
of that. See,
definitely not.
I
Yeah.
wanted to just check that I'm on.
It was
point.
multiple trips up and down.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Right. I would be doing the same.
And then, I was in Astor Place, and then I was in the Lower East Side for a while. And then I moved to more like East Village, like first between 2nd and Bowery. So that area, you know what? I mean, you asked what was your favorite place. I don't know if I would move back down there, but I think that was my favorite area by the Bowery Hotel.
Oh, interesting. And what was it about that vibe after being in so many places that you found?
It just felt very central. Like one step I was in the West Village, one step I was in Soho, one step in the Lower East Side, one, NoHo. So it felt really central to me. And at that time, I was always a downtown person. Now it's funny, my partner and he's been trying to convince me Upper East Side, and I've been so hell-bent against it. And we just had lunch at the...
Be careful.
Yeah, I know. Well, he would love... Yeah, we had lunch at the Mark a couple of weeks ago at that lobster shack
That's
outside.
So cute.
And I was sitting there, and we ran into some friends, and it was so calm, and we were walking around, we went to Butterfield, all these things, and I turned to him, and I was like, you know what, I think it might be the Upper East Side.
Wow.
He was jubilant. Yeah. But then it's funny, because now he's, I'm jumping around, but he's really now excited about Tribeca. But we'll talk about that later, but the Tribeca between Upper East and Upper East Side. But what I liked, about that area was the central nature of it, but also I was really in that downtown phase, and it just felt very. Also, I mean, it's so not European, but it also is the way it's shorter buildings. It's more charming. So yeah, I felt like it was like my Carrie Bradshaw, era.
Well, you're actually also every broker's dream because, to have a client moving every year.
And open to all neighborhoods.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to have you sign papers before
Yes,
you leave.
I would. I hope I can work with you all
year.
one day.
Exactly. So, there's just, again, so much to talk about. There's so many facets to your career and all the things you've accomplished. So tell me a little bit about branding, because you've done so well and you have these, eclectic brands that you represent. Why is PR out? People are no longer calling it PR. It's kind of like a taboo word. Can you shed some light for the viewers, or why we now want to not call it PR and we want to call it branding?
It's such a good question, and it's something I think agencies and brands are grappling with a lot. So PR has that reputation of, events and guest lists. Sorry. PR has that representation, PR has that sort of stereotype of events and guest lists and fashion and glamour, and people didn't realize the amount of strategy that actually goes behind something like that, but behind building a brand. Even doing all of that, like the traditional old school PR,
Right.
you're building a brand, right? The people in the room, the people that are getting photographed with the brand first, et cetera, that's building desirability for the brand.
Right.
But as the world has changed and we all live in this digital environment, all of that's changed. It's no longer I'm picking up the paper the next day
Right.
to see, oh, so-and-so was carrying this suitcase or was at this party. I'm seeing it immediately. And then I want it immediately.
Everything's in real time.
Everything's in real
It's in
time.
real time, right.
So, and it's all about experiences. Like I want it immediately, but I want to come in your store and I want to have an experience.
Right.
And so what is, and I want to be sold on an experience. Like what is the lifestyle that I'm seeing you put forward
Right.
that makes me want to consume your brand? Take a spirit brand, for example. It's no longer, yes, the liquid has to be good, of course, right? But if you have a good liquid, you can't just market that. I want to know what is the lifestyle of this brand. Like when I'm drinking it, what environment am I in? What am I wearing? What am I feeling? Is it luxury? Is it fashion? Like what, so as brands, we now with campaigns have to show that.
Right.
So the campaign is no longer, here's a cocktail, it's delicious. The campaign is, we're taking a press trip to Cannes and we're showcasing you the lifestyle of Belvedere vodka during the Cannes Film Festival and the glamour of the celebrity. And this is why Belvedere is better than Grey Goose. They're kind of a very similar liquid, but it's because this is our lifestyle and this is that lifestyle, right? So it's very...
I agree with you and I understand. I think what I'm also curious about, because obviously when you're doing champagne or all of those types of brands feel glamorous, but what about for, let's say, Birkenstock,
Yeah.
which clearly is a famous brand, but it's not a glamorous brand. How do you transcend something like that to make it to zhuzh it a little bit?
Yeah,
Or do
that's
you?
a great question. No, they market to so many audiences. It's one of the only brands that's so multi-generational that your great-grandmother to great-grandchildren all can be wearing the same product, which is really rare. I mean, you see timepiece brands doing those ads of like mother, daughter, father, son, grandparent, but a 9-year-old isn't necessarily going to be wearing an Audemars Piguet, like maybe, but not necessarily. But Birkenstock, you're going to have a toddler and the great grandparent both wearing the same shoe. So how do you speak to all these audiences?
Right.
That's one. Two, when we did their IPO, this is a really good example. Their global CEO wanted us to build a campaign that was for the people because he believed it was the community and this loyal fan base around the world that made and built Birkenstock. So even though now they have fashion collaborations and we saw the whole thing in Barbie, all of that kind of stuff about how Birkenstock's becoming has become a cultural icon, it's a family brand, and it's a brand steeped in foot science and foot health that nobody knew.
Right.
So our job was like, how do we tell the story of the origin of the brand, which is based on foot health and foot science and
Exactly.
inventing the footbed, but also how do we make it about our community versus an exclusive event? So he didn't want to do an LVMH style exhibit, Birkenstock. And by the way, many people don't know it's a 250-year-old brand. So we were like, why don't we do this whole beautiful, Dior style exhibit and celebrity moment?
So
And he said, absolutely not. Come up with something else. So what we did is create parks in the city. He wanted to give back to the city that never stops walking. So we came up with this idea of
I like that,
Birkenfields, which brought to life different aspects of the brand, but you could interact. It was free. It was open to everyone. So we had one park in Flatiron that we built, and then we had one near Astor Place. And then we had a beer garden in Brooklyn.
That's it's fascinating hearing about brands and stories.
Yeah.
And I want to take a break, and when we come back, because you were saying your partner's thinking of Tribeca, and I want to start off on the Tribeca Film Festival.
I love
and
it.
Pour Less
As
Sip.
Jessel Tank, my dear friend from Real Housewives of New York, said, Tribeca's so up and coming.
Okay, so we'll be back.
Ultimate Diamond is New York City's most established family-owned jeweler. With over 65 years of experience, Ultimate is renowned for its exceptional, custom-crafted diamond jewelry, its bespoke engagement ring designs, and its ability to source rare, distinguished timepieces. Ultimate has built a legacy of timeless craftsmanship and discretion, making it a trusted name among those who value refined luxury. Learn more at ultimatediamond.com.
And we are back with my incredible guest, Akbar. And we are now, I want to talk about, first of all, you in Tribeca And then, of course, having your first film being featured in the Tribeca Film Festival. That's just incredible. I mean, tell us a little bit about that. Because I don't think most people that do their first film are featured.
No,
right,
it was a huge
Tribeca Film Festival
moment. I know earlier we were speaking about this iconic moment I had at the stock exchange when I took Birkenstock public, and talk about another iconic moment, Tribeca Festival. That's what I feel like, New York is in my bones. It'll never leave. And it's funny because I still do the vision boards. And on my vision board for the film, I had Sundance, South by, the two other big festivals, and then Tribeca as the third. But I knew deep down it was going to be Tribeca, but everybody was in my head, it has to be Sundance, all this hype around Sundance. And I'm glad it wasn't Sundance because honestly, I'm not like a snow boot. I'll go in the snow to Aspen and San Moritz to ski, but I'm not like a trudging through the snow. I got to be glam at Tribeca, be in my hometown. So it was incredible. I mean, it was such an honor to be accepted. The director of programming actually called out to the director of our film how I carried the entire film, which was my first time acting. So it was really, really surreal to be featured.
But you already had the vision as you were doing the movie? I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'll walk you through. So I did some acting when I was young, plays and things, nothing serious. And then growing up in a more conservative family, it wasn't really encouraged, the creativity, right? It was sort of like doctor, lawyer, and we talked about how I deflected from law school and ended up in PR. Doctor, lawyer, finance. And so now I'm at a place where I can pursue these passions. So I got connected to some incredible people. Harris Duran, who was our director, Fazia Mirza. And Harris went to Juilliard. I mean, he's like been in the fabric of New York acting community. And then our cinematographer, Bill Kirstein, who shot the recent Mean Girls, brilliant.
Yeah, amazing.
And also happens to live in Tribeca. And he, so we just got this incredible team together and they wrote this script for me with me in mind. And it was sort of a very absurd, campy version of me, right? It was about a beauty entrepreneur, so not far off from my entrepreneurial life.
So
Thank
fun.
you.
Yeah, I love it.
And so they built it around me, and we didn't know where it was going to go, but it was, it's all about the writing, directing, and editing. And yes, the acting's a big part of it, but like without the right writing and editing, no film, no matter how good you are,
For sure.
is going to work.
No, it takes a village, but I think what's fun about it is that it's very camp.
Yes.
There's also a moral to the story.
Yes.
Right?
And
it's fun.
It's fun.
It's wonderful. It's 12 or 13 minutes.
It's 13 minutes. It's a comedy short. It's a
great.
big short. It was a really ambitious project, but again, I don't do anything unless it's fantastic and perfect. And that's what, for me, it was challenging to produce a first-time film. Producing a film is no joke. I mean, it is, you all produce and create and sell big things, but it is intense, and there's fundraising involved, and there's dealing with multiple. I mean, we had like 40 crew at one point on set, right? And then we had like 11 casts. So it's a really big endeavor, and it takes a village to make happen. I learned a lot.
Is there anything that, I don't want to use the word negative, but anything that was, what would be the sort of the pros or the cons of this experience for you? What would be one on each side? What would be like a takeaway that was really wonderful? I feel like
there was no con. I mean, the con was I wish we made it a feature and not a short. So I wish we just went the extra mile.
Right.
So there was no like negative, and the pros, oh my God, I mean, what a life experience. You connect as an actor, you connect so much with yourself. I feel like this was a transformative journey for me. It was, when you do that kind of work, you have to connect with yourself so deeply. So really it was just a win-win. And and then just neighborhood-wise, it was all shot in Brooklyn. So,
So that was the one neighborhood I don't think you mentioned.
No, I didn't. And I've never lived there. But funny enough, pre-pandemic, we did have an office in Dumbo.
Okay.
And that was I feel like that was when Dumbo was still, as Jessel would say, up and coming. So now it's like totally, it's arrived.
Fire, for sure.
But that was really incredible. So this was my first time, not back in Brooklyn, but being back in Brooklyn in a bigger way.
Right.
And yeah, that's where we filmed.
Oh, amazing. And how did the name, I mean, I have ideas on how you came up with the name, but how did you come up with the name?
The writers came up with it, the product. It was a play on all of us wanting to look perfect all the time.
Right.
And so the moral, as you said, was like our flaws are what make us and being our authentic selves. And like We can do all of this all day long, but at the end of the day, if we're not happy with who we are, then none of that's going to matter. So Poreless it's the product like makes you perfect, but also the title, all of it kind of played with this perfection that's not really needed if you truly believe you're perfect.
So did you feel after doing this, you're no longer going to, it doesn't matter anymore?
Being perfect.
No, yeah.
I'll always strive for that. I think it's sort of it's a New York hustle mentality. It's being a child of immigrants to that mentality. I mean, I made it, this city made me, and I made it in this city. So I think I'll always strive for that level of perfection. But it made me, it was a healing journey for me, for sure. The film it really was a healing journey for me in realizing like the value of being who you are. So it was really incredible.
Well, I think you've also inspired people with your message. I'm sure you've heard that.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I mean, the reviews, I can't even believe the amount of reviews and reactions we got. They're feature films at Tribeca who were like, you got more press and buzz than we did. And I think it just resonated with people. It doesn't matter your background, race, religion, economic, status, anything. The message was, until you love yourself, you're not going to be happy. And until you realize that, like life can't go on. So I think it's just a universal message, which is why films from, why amazing films work and films from all different backgrounds. It doesn't matter who is in it or what it's about as long as it has a universal message.
Yeah, no, I think as I said, I think there was a message and there's humor. So congratulations on that.
What do you really need to know about buying or selling a home? First, it's serious business. And it's complicated. There's a lot of money on the table, and emotion too. You need an agent who knows the ropes. So, whether you're buying or selling your home, work with professionals who have a mastery of the craft.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
PR and branding have so much to do with my industry, your industry. Tell us how they're evolving.
Yeah, it's completely changed, right? The traditional PR model was which print media can cover the announcement and who are the people in the room that then consumers will read about the next day. Right. And now we consume everything instantly, digitally, and it's all about the experience. Yeah. So now it's no longer, I'll give you an example of a gin brand, right? We're working with out of Umbria, and it's a beautiful gin. It's already won the biggest spirits awards you can imagine. Mm-hmm. We, of course, are going to market the liquid and the ingredients and what makes it unique. But 80% of our focus is going to be on the lifestyle, right? Like, what is the tablescape of this dinner? What is the experience when you travel, like that this brand is supposed to make you feel? And we're going to show that through influencers. When we're going to take influencers on a trip, we're going to show that through a partnership with like a brand like Ginori, the homeware brand. They have a cafe in Bergdorf. Like, we're looking at a brand like that. Like, how do we evoke the lifestyle through a partnership with this type of brand, and the tablescape and the dinner? And there's so many layers that now go into telling the story. Mm-hmm. And then when you're looking at who's telling the story, it's no longer just the media. The media is like a fraction.
It's only one spoke.
It's one, and it's the influencers, which are big and small, right? Who are going to be there, who are telling your story. The big influencers, which everybody gets this wrong because they think 2 million, that's the one I need. They're more awareness and buzz building. So we always tell brands, go for them. And if we have budget, they're absolutely great, but they get eyeballs. So like, if your brand is not as well known, or you're doing a collaboration, you want a lot of eyeballs on, absolutely, that's the way to go. Right. If you actually want to convert and sell product, it's going to be a much smaller group of influencers that actually have less following. You maybe even 10,000, 20,000. Right. That makes sense. You look at the tastemakers, right? So there's influencers, there's your celebrity guests, there's tastemakers, which are sort of the about town people. Mm-hmm. Then there's high net worth individuals who might actually be able to buy, but sometimes they want to be at the event, sometimes they don't. When we worked with Van Cleef and Arpels, for their high jewelry shows, they had 2 separate events. Right. One was for their high net worth customers who actually spend the millions on jewelry with them every year, and no press was allowed, no photos, nothing, because those people don't care. They're Van Cleef is entertaining them and thanking them for their patronage and partnership. Then there was a same event replicated, because obviously a brand like Van Cleef has the budget to do so. That was for media and influencers. Right. So you see they're doing it exactly right. One, I'm going to sell. Right. And then
Exactly.
one, I'm going to showcase and create
Exactly.
desire.
Right, and have buzz.
Yeah,
and
so
create.
not all
Exactly.
brands have that budget,
Of course.
but there's still ways to implement those strategies.
But I also think, just FYI, that you look the part of someone who's doing this, and I do
Thank
think
you.
that's part of the storytelling, right? That
Yeah.
you that you're someone that people want to understand. What's he doing? So I do think it's
Thank you.
You're on brand.
Well, you are too.
So-
I would if I had the 100 million, I would buy that instantly if you walked in the
Okay,
room.
we
So,
do lesson. We do it all. So, what would you do to, I don't want to say elevate my brand, but I'm going to hire you. What are you doing for the Simonsen team group? How are
Yeah.
you? Tell us what
Well,
you're going to do.
I can only imagine that you have some fascinating real estate stories. And I think not a gossipy tell-all, but some sort of book or, op-ed type thing, I think for you would be really interesting because real estate is fascinating. I remember when I was young, there were those shows, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, where they would show these
Robin
homes.
Leach.
Yeah, so you
Oh.
would see Star Island and
Right.
different. And it's funny now, then you're older and you're in the parties in the homes. But that was really aspirational. But the stories behind those homes were so fascinating, and who were the buyers. And I know a lot of this is private, and you can't talk about the end customer. But there's a story behind how many times. It's also like a vintage piece of Van Cleef jewelry. How many times has it changed homes? Oh, it used to belong to a royal. Then it was it went to this, and then it went to this tech crypto entrepreneur. So there's a lot of fascinating, and also the ways that there's funny stories and people you interact with and things. So I think some sort of a book and you're doing the podcast, which is great, could be really interesting for you. Also, I think I would imagine the way you showcase a property or talk about it is very different than like a selling sunset, And each
Right.
audience has their consumer, but I would be very intrigued, and I think that there's partnerships as well for somebody at your level. Like when I'm looking at a home too, or even aspirationally looking at an apartment or a house, I want to see what it's like lived in. So I feel like there's also a way to connect you with brands since you're engaging in these homes and with these individuals. Like there could be I've never seen a brand partnership with somebody like yourself in this industry with a luxury brand. I think that's really interesting because think about the people that are constantly interacting with you. You actually would be somebody who they'd look at and see something and probably purchase it beyond the home. So I don't know. I think
it's interesting.
Yeah,
It's
individuals
fascinating.
are like brands. Well, we haven't really worked with individuals. You are a brand. So it's sort of like, what's your book deal? What's your story? You have your podcasts. It's like,
Right.
what are all the channels for you?
Okay, great. Well, to be continued.
To be continued.
A last question. What do you think of Stephen Colbert being fired?
It's
Just a last little question. on your
it's
way out the
interesting.
door.
He's a legend. He's been brilliant, but this is my personal opinion, is we're in a new era of new thought leaders and cultural leaders, and Gen Z and millennials and Gen A. I mean, this is the new. They're taking over, right? We're slowly, on our way out, and they're the ones who are setting the tone, setting the trends, sharing the news. We're all watching them on TikTok. We all want quick sound bites. If you look at Alex Cooper, Alex Earl, like the Call Her Daddy network, which sold to SiriusXM for $250 million. I mean, she started with a TikTok that went viral a few years ago.
That's
Right?
incredible.
These are the new storytellers. These are the new people we're looking to. Her podcast and her interviews with like Sarah Jessica Parker and these are getting hundreds of millions of views.
Amazing.
And so why wouldn't a network like CBS tap 12 of those for 12 million who are going to reach 100 times more than Colbert?
Right. So it's just, it's sort of, you see it coming.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's political,
nothing personal. Almost,
I mean, I'm sure there's bureaucratic things and political things, but like I truly think it's just it's time for a new group, and then in 30 years it'll be time for a new group. It's just the way the way it goes. But the world's changed, the way we consume has changed. Even luxury brands are struggling with this, right? How are we speaking to this new audience? Because they're starting, Gen Z is now starting to make money, right?
Right.
And we had all those young sort of crypto billionaires and millionaires too. they're very specific with the way they spend. They don't care about this logo, right? So
No,
it's
that's
like,
right.
it's so how are we speaking to them and getting them to still buy the brand? And so same way, how are
Of
we
course.
communicating to them?
Hey, it's Stephen Bailey from Roadway Moving and Storage. As an official moving partner of Brown Harris Stevens, we know that your clients deserve more than just a move. At Roadway Moving and Storage, we turn moving into an experience they will love. From specialized services to a white glove treatment, we've got it all covered. When you choose Roadway, you're choosing a peace of mind for your clients. Plus, our referral program is the most rewarding in the industry. Want to learn more? Shoot me an email at steven@roadwaymoving.com or visit roadwaymoving.com.
Investors, this is your moment. I'm Scott Nadler with Cross Country Mortgage, and whether you're starting out or growing your empire, I've got the loan solutions to make your next move a success. Let's talk today.
I'm back with Akbar Hamid, and we're going to do one of my favorite parts of the show, rapid fire.
Amazing.
Are you ready?
Yes,
Let's
I'm ready.
Okay, good. What's your favorite place to travel to?
Mykonos.
Why?
I feel so free and happy there. To me, I've been going for like 12 years, so I've seen the evolution also. And you know what? You're going for an experience. Everybody's like, oh, it's like too much and this and that now, but you know what you're going for. You're going for that experience. I love it. I think I'll go there till I die.
Okay. And where do you stay? What's your hotel there?
I love the Belvedere. I love Cabo Tagu and Santa Marina. And next year there will be a Four Seasons opening.
Okay. And what about what is your favorite exercise?
My favorite exercise, I love just my trainer, strength training. So I would say,
Is there something? I mean, you just do what do you do with strength?
like
training?
Sort of all the different weights, chest press, like just that for me is my favorite. The feeling, yeah. You sort of just, I know you just feel like tight and strong after. I just love that.
Especially the tight part.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that we care. This is one of my favorite questions. What is your go-to? What's your vice?
Oh my gosh, my vice.
And don't say you don't have one, because that's not true. I had one guest that told me they don't have a vice, and I've got to go back to that question.
Oh my God, like I don't even know. I mean,
oh, you do so know. Just think of one of them. Just share that you can share. No, I'm not letting you off the hook.
Can I say binge eating? Is that
ice cream bagels?
Yeah, like
Okay.
I love sweets. I'm so bad. And you know, with this invention of Postmates, it's a blessing and a curse because just keep ordering. So that's definitely my vice.
And
sweets.
then what do you do to decompress when you've really had a lot going on? What do you do to just chill out? Chillax.
Honestly, I meditate a lot. So I do like 20 minutes every day, morning for sure. And then if I can in the afternoon or evening.
Right.
And honestly, that's been incredible.
What is your philanthropic charity? What is something that really matters to you?
Yes, supporting LGBT youth and kind of inspiring and mentoring. So we've GLAD actually hosted our LA premiere. And so anything where I can inspire or speak to, because I didn't have those mentors growing up. I know now the world has changed, and we have a lot of people publicly and a lot of executives and leaders that, are from the LGBT community. So I think, anything that can support and mentor.
And who's your favorite designer?
Oh, this one is hard.
I was just looking at that jacket.
I love Loewe. We'll see now with the new creative director, but I have to say I don't own any of this yet, but Haider Ackerman for Tom Ford right now. Mm-hmm. Wow. Unbelievable. But and Saint Laurent. It's hard to have a favorite, but okay. If I had to pick one, Saint Laurent.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been great having you.
Thank you
so much, Akbar.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.